It's a little wet, so it's might not be safe. Ported intakes make a big difference. That was my first wide open throttle pull on this car. From a dead stop launch to 105, and oh my God, Terry, I have a smile on my face right now. I can't get rid of it. Terry, you are a god. Ha! Gay! Those intakes pull. Holy shit. So no joke, guys. I swear to God, that was the first time I've opened this thing up with ported intakes from the stop all the way up to through a quarter mile, and I'm like shaking right now almost, because that is so much faster than stock. And I'm not even retuned. Oh my God. Terry, A++ on the intakes, man. These are some bomb-ass ported intakes. Definitely feel the power increase. I'm off. This is the only day I have. They look so beautiful. Pep Boys, get some coolant. It needs to be changed anyways. We'll get some coolant, and then we're gonna get to work. These bad boys on. We're gonna do some test runs today. I'm gonna go with the press stone up here. Oh, yep. Should have just went to my dealership and bought more grab. Good enough for me. Finally, it's happened. I got ported intakes on the car. This video is going to cover all about ported intakes, everything you need to know. I did do a video about ported intakes a little bit back. I didn't really give as much information as I wanted to, so if you've seen that video, it is still worth seeing this video. If you haven't seen the other one, disregard it, because this is going to be the ported intake video. A lot of you guys ask questions about ported intakes. You want to know everything about them. So I just got ported intakes on this 3.7. So we are basically almost full bolt on. We've got the long tube headers, off-road X pipe, 373s. We've got a cold air intake tune. We've got some suspension stuff done. We've got the ported intakes now. So this car should be running a high 12 in the quarter mile. As sits. Haven't gone to the track because this weather has been atrocious. The DA has been upwards of 3,000, and it's just not worth it because I know I'm not going to get the times I want to get. So I'm going to wait till I get a real cool night, and we'll take the car out, we'll run it, and we're going to hopefully hit 12s the first time we run. It feels like it. It feels like it's got it. It feels up to par with my last one. Maybe a little bit quicker because this one I think is a little bit lighter. But this one is going to definitely be lighter when we take the track because I've done a couple more things to get some weight out of this car than I did in the last one. So this is my second time doing ported intakes in a 3.7 liter. I'm familiar with it from the first time. The first time I did it, I had Lone Wolf. Lone Wolf no longer does porting. Right now, I am on TV-built ported intakes. TV-built no longer publicly ports intakes. I had a deal with Terry from a while back about getting a set. And fortunately, even though he doesn't do it anymore, he's a good friend of mine. He came through and he did them. And thank you very much, Terry, for getting me these port intakes. Before I even get into the details that you guys want to know, getting these parts for your car, before I even get into the detail about getting these parts for your car, I want to quickly compare Lone Wolf and TV-Belt. Now, Lone Wolf, it was not bad. You might hear some bad things about Lone Wolf. You might hear some good things. Some people do have a bad taste. Some people have a good taste. TV-Belt has very good intakes. Comparing Lone Wolf's to TV-Belt, I do feel TV-Belt's intakes are better than Lone Wolf's intakes. I feel more power throughout the rest of the power band. I can actually hear these a little more than I heard the Lone Wolf intakes, which will get me to a point I'm going to talk about, which is the sound difference. That's what here. And I have my AC off. It's kind of hot in here, so if I start sweating, I'm sorry. I can't do videos with my windows down because it makes too much noise, and it's fucking hot outside. So we have to deal with it. I don't have a lot of time to do this video because it is getting dark out. Things I'm going to cover in this video: how much does it cost? Does it sound different? How much horsepower do you gain from ported intakes? How easy is it to install them? Where can you get ported intakes? What is a core? What is a core when you get ported intakes? Do you have to retune for ported intakes? Do you have to data log? What is the drivability like? The overall performance, just going down the road, daily driving the car, what do you notice that's different? Does the gas mileage change for ported intakes? How is the overall value of the mod itself? Is it worth it? Is it worth getting ported intakes for your 3.7 or 5.0 or any car for that matter? Because you can port any intakes on any car. So first, we'll talk about the cost. Now it's going to be different. I may have paid a different price than what you may pay, even though TV-Belt's not doing them anymore, so you probably won't get a quote from TV-Belt. We're going to turn the AC on because it's hot in here. I'm not going to tell you how much I paid, but I'll tell you how much they normally go for, and that's between $300 and $350. If you look at what you get for that kind of money, it is definitely worth it. If you guys remember, just recently, I did a video about throttle bodies and whether or not they're worth it. $450 for a couple horsepower. Well, these are cheaper, and you get probably 5 times the amount of horsepower out of port intakes that you do out of a throttle body. So is it worth it cost-wise? 110%, yes. Does it sound different? When you get port intakes, does it sound different? Now, when I had Lone Wolf intakes, they did sound a little different, sound a little bit throatier. I did have a throttle body at the time. Right now, I don't have a BBK throttle body in here. I did then, so I don't know if that makes a difference. I don't think it really does. It really should, because it really doesn't do anything for your car. I had a different cold air intake too. I had a BBK cold air intake. I have a Steeda cold air intake on this car. But again, that's not really the difference. The difference you're hearing is the porting work itself. This almost sounds like, if you guys have ever had a throttle body spacer on your car before, I think I have a video of my 4.0 Mustang when I had a throttle body spacer on there. If you can listen to the whistle noise that you hear. I'll put it up in the video right now. Listen. That is what you hear when you have TV-Belt port intakes. Now, I don't know if it's the same with, say, Anthony's intakes. Anthony's a guy who ports. I didn't hear it with Lone Wolf's intakes, but I talked to Terry and I asked him to make sure it was normal, and he said all of his intakes that he ports sound like that. Now, I know it's not a problem with the porting because these intakes perform very well, very, very well. So it's not a problem. It's not like something went wrong in the porting process that makes a noise. It's just the way he ports them. That's the way they sound, and it sounds freaking cool. So how much horsepower do you get from port intakes? Now, there's somebody that said, and I saw this on Facebook, 29 wheel horsepower. That's a little too much. I can't see that being probable from port intakes. What you can expect is probably about 10 to 15 rear wheel horsepower, depending on the porting work. Even from the same person, I mean, maybe you have 10 sets of intakes from it. It might vary a little bit, depending on your other mods also, whether you have long tubes, if you have a BPK throttle body, what kind of cold air intake you have. All those things are going to make differences as far as how much horsepower you might net at the rear wheel if you dyno, say, before and after. Right now, Auto Mafia Racing does have a set of ported intakes from Anthony, and they are going to be doing a before and after. So if you guys aren't in the Facebook group for Cyclone 3.7L space Mustangs on Facebook, join that group, and you will definitely see Auto Mafia Racing's results from that. And if you're not in the group, I will talk about them in one of the next videos that we do. So about 10 to 15 horsepower, but it will be put to the test very soon by Auto Mafia Racing. So we will get that number for sure. But in the past, that's kind of the number we've gone off of and what we've seen from previous installations and cars we've done. So as far as installation, if you've never worked on a car before, don't try and do this yourself. Don't. So a lot of bad things can happen. If you do install yourself, a couple things to watch out for. Make sure you get the gaskets back in the new ones properly. Do you have to buy new gaskets? No, you don't have to buy new gaskets. You can reuse the intake gaskets off of the original intakes. I did, and it's fine. Terry does it, and it's fine. Can you put new gaskets on it if you want to? Sure, definitely get Ford OEM Ford gaskets though if you do. But most times you can reuse them. What you do is you just swap them over from the old intakes to the new intakes. Make sure that your gasket that goes in the coolant passage in the back of the lower intake is on there properly, because the last thing you want is to cause that to leak and you get coolant in places that you don't want to get coolant. So as far as installation, I mean, it does take about 2 hours, I'd say, altogether, if you take your time with it and make sure it's all done right. You can rush and get it done in about an hour and a half, probably, but you don't want to rush when you're doing stuff like this, especially when you're not pulling the fuel, when you're pulling the fuel rail out, and you're dealing with everything, just being meticulous. You definitely you don't want to rush. So about 2 hours, 2.5 hours, if you're taking your time. I did it with my buddy Mike on this car just the other day, and it took us probably about 2.5 hours, and we were bullshitting a lot too, so, having a couple beers, so probably in reality about an hour and 45 minutes is what it really took us, I would say. We did have a problem with the injector O-rings getting stuck, but they come right out, you just put them back on. There was an issue. The fuel rail didn't want to come off. Just gave it a little tender loving care, and it eventually will come out. Just be careful, don't pry it too hard, take your time. If something seems like it doesn't want to come out, just go slow and easy. Don't rip and tear or anything. Cords. What are cords? Everybody hears cords when you talk about port intakes, because everybody that ports intakes usually works off of cords. Cords are when you get your intakes, you're actually getting somebody else's intakes off of their car that have been ported and sent to you. This is done this way so that when you want port intakes, you don't have to go out and buy your own and then send them to get ported. Which, if you want to resolve downtime on your car, say if somebody needs intakes, they don't have cords, they want you to send you theirs, you can buy intakes and send it to them. If you don't want to do that, hopefully the person that you're getting to port your intakes has a set of cords, which means an available set of intakes they can port and send to you. But the deal of that is that you have to send your intakes back. Now, a big problem, especially with Anthony when he was porting, people weren't sending him back their cords, and this caused a big delay. A lot of people got backed up and didn't get their intakes like they were supposed to. A lot of people got upset, but the only person you get upset in that case, the only person you can get upset with is the people who aren't sending back their cords like you're supposed to. So if you get ported intakes and somebody asks you for a cord back, send them back the cord, because you're holding up a lot of other people from getting stuff done in their car. So please remember to do that. Retuning, you have to retune. Now this has changed over the years. Tuning has changed on port intakes. When I first got port intakes on the Lone Wolf intakes, MPT told me that they highly recommended that I data log. Now, as of recently, people have been getting port intakes, and MPT has been telling them that they don't need to make any additional changes. So I don't know if MPT has changed their tuning. I really suggest that if you get port intakes, whether or not your tuner says you should or shouldn't, you should data log, because data logging will always get you some kind of gains. There's always more to be had over an email tune. It's not like going to the dyno. There's just more left on the table. When I got my Lone Wolf intakes, I had MPT tune the car. I already had MPT on the tune on the car, but after I got the ported intakes, about a month went by, I didn't do anything, and then I went to the track. I ran decent miles per hour in time, but I wasn't too happy with it. And it's when I told MPT I have port intakes and all stuff, and they suggested definitely data logging, because you see there is an increase in airflow, anywhere from 5 to 10%. Now Terry's intakes, the TV build intakes, we're getting anywhere from 8 to 12, I think. I might be wrong in the number, but it was somewhere around that area. So, like I said, even if your tuner says no, I would still say that you should ask them to data log and make sure they look over everything, because there are gains to be had from data logging. You could definitely pick up a mile per hour or two, or maybe more in a quarter mile if you do that. Drivability. Overall, there are gains. Mostly what I feel the biggest gains are around 3,000 or 4,000 RPM, and then upwards of 6,000 RPM, there's a lot more pull also. But just driving around, say you're cruising 6th gear, going 50 miles an hour, I feel like it's easier on the gas pedal. The car wants to go without me having to put as much gas into it. At any RPM in the power band, that's just overall driving no matter what. I feel like it's more responsive. I feel like it's more eager to go, and I don't have to use the gas as much to keep it up to speed. It just wants to stay going at the miles per hour it's going. So that kind of leads me to gas mileage, which is the next thing I was going to talk about. Gas mileage should increase a little bit, but you're probably going to see it decrease because you're going to have your foot in it more, because you're making more horsepower and you want to go faster. So you're probably going to see a decrease in gas mileage and assume it's in the port intakes. But really, you should be getting more gas mileage in port intakes. Overall value, do I even have to say? I think this is a no-brainer at this point. I think we all know the port intakes are one of the best dollar-for-dollar mods for the 3.7. covered hopefully everything. If you guys have some questions, some comments, guys, thanks for watching this video. Hopefully this really helped you out. Please leave a like in the video, and then we'll see you in the next one. Peace.